Hi everyone and welcome to Divine Resolution Tarot. This reading is intended for the sign of Aries. If you're watching for an Aries, please reverse roles because it will feel like I'm speaking to you about your Aries. So Aries, I've shuffled your deck, I've pulled your cards, and I'm just taking a look at the bottom of your deck to get an idea of what has been going on in your life since we last spoke. So let's see here. Ten of Swords and Strength. Okay, so something that you wanted to have work out did not go the way that you had hoped. What's good about it is it actually made you stronger. It put you in a space of like being more aware of who you are and what you need. Then plot twist, it looks like you stayed in that space for a little while and then you got bored. you got bored. It's like you were trying to stay the course of being like strong and not putting yourself in situations that didn't really resonate with you or dealing with people that you felt like weren't a good fit. And then it's like you were kind of honestly waiting for whoever this person it didn't work out with. You were hoping that they would come through with an offer. And so you're trying to like stay the course of just like maybe working on yourself or doing the single thing. And then you got tired of waiting, you got really bored, and you started feeling like you needed to do something else, right? So what I'm seeing is like you going out and getting some attention, it feeling really good, and then you making the decision to give a whole bunch of love to an Empress in the reverse. So this is kind of the energy of like you had your sights set on one person, and when they didn't move the way that you thought they should in the time that you thought it should take, you were just like, whatever, like I'll just wife or husband someone else, right? I'm bored. There's nothing happening. I'm gonna go build a life with somebody that is an Empress in the reverse, somebody that I don't really see a future with, but I'm also tired of waiting on this other person. And maybe if they see that I'm not waiting on them, right? They will see that I'm in a commitment. They'll say like, no, that's my Aries. I'm the only match for Aries, and Aries is supposed to be with me. What, who are you and what are you doing here? It's kind of what this looks like. Was your plan. I don't think that this came about in a way of like I'm not seeing like cards of deceit or trickery. It's just more like you being bored and you trying to get the person that's on your mind to like move faster. So you just kind of picked a different person and then gave them a bunch of stuff. And what's interesting is like you did this in a really public way, like public announcement, Aries has moved on. Aries is now, buying Gucci bags for their new significant other. Aries is now getting tattoos. Like you went all in on this situation, and it's just making me laugh because it's like you were kind of mad, right, with that King of Wands in the reverse. Like when this person didn't come through with an offer for you, you were like, F it. I'm just gonna give it all away. I'm gonna give it to the first person that I see. I'll show you how good of a partner I can be to someone not you because you took too long, right? Like you just really wanted to incite this other person to be like, what? Like, no, this is not how this story was supposed to go. It was supposed to be us. Like, you're also kind of trying to show this past person what a catch you are and all the things that you can provide by doing it for someone else. I don't know if you are even aware that that's what you're doing, honestly. It doesn't look like there was a whole lot of thought behind it. It just looks more like you were bored and you were upset and you wanted something different and you wanted this person to move towards you, but you also didn't want to be the person to say the words, right? You didn't want to be the one to say like, hey, I really wish it would have worked between us. Instead, it was like, no, they owe me an apology. They need to come to me. So you're starting off your spread with the Eight of Pentacles, and we have the Seven of Swords reversed for what's coming towards you. For love, you're putting in a lot of work, but what's interesting is like you're putting in all this work to this Empress reversed, hoping that your Queen of Wands sees, that you're kind of hoping that like this other person will take notice. And you are working on something, but you have one foot out the door, is what I'm seeing. It's like, to you, this isn't a permanent situation. This is a good time. But I guess what I'd say about that is be a little bit careful, because I don't think you're conveying that to the person that you're dealing with now, that they're kind of just like a good time. Because you're going so hard, like kind of love bombing this person. It's coming off like you want to be with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of backfiring on you, because your goal was to get somebody to move towards you from your past, but they've seen that you're with someone else and you're so in love and you're so happy. That's actually your obstacle is the sun. And because they see that, that's not going to help your cause. Like they don't want to move closer to you, because now it's like you've already moved on, you're living your life, and they don't see a point. But also like you're going so hard with this new person, and it doesn't look like you're exactly conveying that you're not committed to this the way that you say you are. That could also cause some problems for you in the future. So perhaps be mindful of that. Seven of Swords for what's coming towards you, the Fool. So, okay, it's like you're actually realizing that you could have a second chance or a new opportunity with the person that you were trying to get to move towards you, and they are your first choice. The thing is, though, you're not single. You're not exactly single. I don't know if you've like, it kind of looked like in that back spread there that you've like really gone in with whoever this other person is. Could be a karmic partner. But now it's like you're putting work into your exit, because you've realized that there could be another opportunity with whoever this is that you were trying so hard to get their attention. And I see you like really being kind of focused. Like now you have this like one track mind of like, how can I get closer to this other person? So your work is being divided, right? Like you're still kind of doing the thing with where you are, but now you're like holding back because you're reserving for this other person. And you really just have a lot going on right now, or you will if this hasn't started yet, because there's some kind of revelation that's going to propel you to move. There's something that you're going to see or hear, or maybe you'll have a discussion with this previous person and they'll say like, well, I never stopped loving you, but you got really weird and then you went off and made a whole life with someone else. And, so what are you thinking I'm going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like there's something that happens or will be happening soon that kind of halts the amount of work you're putting into the situation that you're currently in, because it's like, oh wow, so you cared about me all along, you were just waiting for me. Oh, okay, like how can I turn this yacht around, right? Or turn the ship around? Like it's kind of gonna take some time because you've put so much into where you are. You can't just pull the rug out from under that person, right? If you haven't been honest about what you were doing or where you were at with this like newer connection, that's going to create some drama, right? Fool in the reverse for what you're going to want to do about this epiphany. So it's like all that new boo, the Insta photos, the whatever it is you were doing, you're like, oh no, I need to put the brakes on. Like, I guess I never broke up with this past person that I wanted to be with all along. Like, Time to change my number. I don't know if you're gonna like dip out in the night. Like this almost looks like you just kind of ghosting whoever it is that you've been like showing so much attention to. And then letting them figure it out on their own. Like, oh, okay, so you're not gonna ever come back to the apartment we share? Like, it's almost kind of energy like that, Aries. Um, it's either you ghosting this person or you starting to do things that make them want to break up with you so that you don't have to like be the bad guy. You know, maybe like suddenly you don't care about how they feel, or suddenly you start like acting like kind of a jerk, or talking about your ex all the time and how you still feel like committed to that person. Like you either completely disappear because you don't want to deal with it, or you start trying to make the person you're with feel like you just suck and they'd be better off without you. Which, I mean, both of those are kind of skeezy. Like, not to laugh, but it's like option A, option B. Like, both of them, they make you out to be the bad guy. Like, even though you don't want to be the bad guy in this, and so you're trying to do everything you can to avoid the bad guy title, just like you try to do everything you could to avoid having to just talk to the person you actually wanted. You know, you went off and built this whole new other life. Maybe now would be a good time to stop the avoidant behavior, right? Because like you're getting a lot of people involved in situations and not giving them all the information. And you're like, you're creating a lot of stuff that if you could just be more honest, right? Ace of Swords in reverse for your opportunity. If you could be a little more honest with people, you probably could have avoided this whole situation, right? You probably could have had what you wanted a lot sooner. You probably could have avoided like hurting this other person by like playing this game where you're involved but you're not. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe try to get to the bottom of like, because this is your opportunity, why you have a hard time like deciding what you want or being okay with what you want. Because that's what I'm seeing here is like there's a lot of like strategy and tactical behavior of like, well, if I do this, they'll do that, and if they do that, I'll do this. And like why is it just like so hard to just have a conversation about what you want? You know what I mean? Or like, why does it seem like it's so hard for you to say like, I want this thing? Because this person, this new person that you're like spending all this time on, you had no problem going hard to try to make someone else notice you or feel jealous. You know, so it's like you have a really hard time being open and honest about what's important to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, this other person, it's very possible you never posted a photo with them, you never did anything with them, you never acknowledged them publicly, and that's because you really, really love that person and they were close to your heart. Whereas like this person now, it's like, oh my God, me and Bae, we're going here. And it's like, it's because you don't care. You know what I'm saying? It's not hard for you to say I love you all over the internet because you don't love that person. And it's not an emotional vulnerability or an outpouring of emotion that would make you feel some type of way to have to like express. You get what I'm saying? So maybe it's time to get to the bottom of that, because that's creating a lot of problems for you and the people around you. You know what I mean? Like, you have a really hard time being honest about how you feel when it matters. You know, like when you're really in love, you never would say it out loud or in public, you know, but if you're just like having a good time, like with this person up here, it's like, I love you, and emojis and hearts and all that. You know what I mean? And like that's kind of a hindrance to you getting what you want, you know. What this is showing me is that stems from wanting something that you couldn't have and then being made to feel stupid for wanting that thing. Okay, because I'm seeing cards that are talking about subconscious beliefs and then trauma from when you were younger. Page of Pentacles reversed. So this is like feeling like when you committed to something, when you wanted something, when you went after it, you didn't get it, you know, and it was like crushing to you in the sense that it completely obliterated your self-worth. And now it's like you keep everything private, you know, and then that way if you don't get what you want, it doesn't matter because nobody knew you wanted it to begin with, right? Or if you don't get what you want but you didn't really try very hard for what you really wanted, it doesn't matter because it wasn't like your best wasn't good enough. You really tried, right? And then when you're investing in all these things that are not close to your heart or people that don't matter as much, it's way easier to ghost or to try to make them angry to break up with you because you don't care. You're not emotionally invested. So it's just like, whatever. You know, it's easier for you to get mad at me and pack up your stuff than for me to have to like tell you that I don't want to do this anymore and then watch you cry. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of, I don't know. I don't want to put a label on it. I just want you to be aware of it so that you can maybe start building a life that's more authentic for you. And yes, it is terrifying. It's terrifying that you could love something and then it's gone. It's terrifying that you could try your best and it still doesn't work. You know what I mean? But like also that is a part of life, as scary as it is, you know? And so it's like, if you really want to live a full life, you will have to put yourself in situations where you don't know if it's going to work, even if you try your best. And you're going to have to be okay with maybe it not working, you know? Or you're going to have to like weigh the pros and cons, justice reverse for your advice. Like, is it worth it to love something like wholeheartedly for 20 years and then we separate or they pass away or whatever? Like, is it worth it to love someone that long? Or is it better to never feel any of those feelings or have any of those memories or share any of that laughter or affection and then not have to lose that person either? You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to weigh it out. Like, I can't tell you which is better for you. You know, some people do feel like it's better to go through life like never forming attachments to anything because then once it's gone, it doesn't matter, you know? But I think they're probably missing out on a lot, right? But I also get why they do it. So I'm not downing you for this. The only thing that I would say, maybe like, if you can't get to the bottom of which one you'd rather do, or if you err on the side of like, I never want to love anything or be close to anything because I don't want to lose it, maybe be candid about that with the people you deal with. You get what I'm saying? Because like, there's all kinds of people. So if you were honest, eventually you would find somebody that's like, I feel the exact same way. I don't want to care about you either. Let's just have sex every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're honest about where you're at least you would not create so much drama for yourself and you could find like a situation that like flows or works for your level of like engagement or commitment. Okay? That's how I'll say that. That's the only thing that I think you should probably work on the most, because like you leaving a trail of like broken hearts and then not feeling a thing about it, it makes you come off as like really narcissistic, even though I can see that you're not. Like, I'm not seeing anything there saying like that you're a narcissist. You're just really scared to like love people. So you deal with people that you are not invested in or that you don't love. And then the people that you do love, you don't go after. And it's really confusing for them because it's like, okay, I gave you all this time and attention. You hid me from the world. Now you meet some rando person and 2 weeks later you live with them and you're getting married and they're the love of your life. You never cared about me at all. You know, and so like you're leaving a bad taste in this old person's mouth too. You know what I'm saying? So maybe if you can understand like how your actions are affecting the people around you, you will understand why you're getting the results that you're getting. And you can choose to do something else if you want, because you have free will. You could do this for the rest of your life if you want, you know. Eventually you'll probably end up on a lot of those websites, like the Facebook pages, like don't date him or don't date her, or are we dating the same person? You get what I'm saying? Like, eventually you'll get a reputation, if you don't already have one, for being this way, and that could affect your life. And then like you'll have to take stock on like what you're missing out on or whatever. That's a thing too. But all right, moving on. The Hermit, for something to consider. So I don't mean to laugh, but how long are you gonna be able to do this? You know what I'm saying? Like this, like, are you gonna be alone until you die? Like, because of the way you feel? Like, are you gonna like break a bunch of hearts and then you're just gonna like get a shack in the mountains and do that until you're like really old and you're just gonna be by yourself? Like, if that's what you want, that's dope. I love that for you. And it's probably actually better if you go live in a shack in the woods and like not go around breaking everybody's hearts. Because Aries is really attractive and people fall for Aries easy. You know, you've got all that charisma. So maybe it is good if you go be a hermit and pack that up so that people aren't like you're not out there being people's villain origin story, right? But like in all honesty and like all jokes aside, what does your character development look like for your life, for you? You know what I'm saying? Like when you get old, what are you going to regret? What are you going to look back on and be like, man, I wish I would have tried that thing wholeheartedly. I wish I would have went after that goal. I wish I would have put more into life. You know what I'm saying? Like now I'm old and I'm looking at my life and I'm thinking about all the things I didn't try because I was afraid they wouldn't work. I'm thinking about all the experiences I didn't have because I was afraid that the person that I was with wouldn't be there tomorrow, you know, and now my life is over. I'm at the end of my life and I'm realizing like I never really lived my life, you know? So something to consider, right? Like not trying to tug at your heartstrings, but it's for you, you know, it's about your life experience. It's not the cards aren't saying like, oh, look at how you're dealing with people or look at your relationships. I mean, that can be taken from the Hermit, sure, right? Maybe be mindful about integrating people into your life if you're not serious about them. But more than anything, this is about you. You know what I mean? This is about like, what's your legacy? What do you want to look back and see when you're at the end of the road, right? Justice in the reverse coming out for your advice. Okay, leave the karmics alone. Maybe don't be so unfair to people, right? But also like this is saying take a break from being in relationships. So maybe you're somebody that just like likes to be in relationships. I kind of saw that at the bottom of the deck where you got bored and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else. This is talking about working on yourself. And maybe that's not what you want to hear. So I'm sorry if that makes you sad. But this is talking about you just kind of taking some time to get to the bottom of some of these like fears and triggers that we saw. And finding some balance and stability within yourself so that you can be on your own and still feel good about yourself. But you're giving yourself like a stable and safe place to always come back to. So like if you want to go out and try something and it doesn't work, you've now cultivated like more resilience inside of you, or you've dealt with some of that like kind of yucky trauma baggage stuff that I'm seeing, so that if something doesn't work, you don't just fall apart and you're like, oh my God, this is the worst and I'm lost and I'm scared and I'm alone. Like if you could work on that stuff, you would have no problem trying new things. You know what I mean? Like you're afraid of going after these things because you don't have the bandwidth to deal with the aftermath of the loss, of the failure, of the defeat. You get what I'm saying? And like a lot of what you're afraid of, that's like, it's real in the sense that it could happen, but it's also like not real in the sense of like, if you went after something and you really did put your best foot forward, your odds of accomplishing whatever you're trying to do are very good, right? Or if you went after the person that you love and they love you back and you tried, your odds are very good that you would have a relationship with that person that would be great. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's like your fears are getting bigger based on your perception and kind of like the lies that you're telling yourself. You know what I mean? Because the moon is like, it's making the devil bigger, you know? So if you could work on asking yourself questions with justice, is this true? Is this real? Is this based on fact? Right? Is this accurate? Does this apply? You know, when you're hearing those voices of like, they'll never love you, they're just gonna leave. Is that true? Well, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So even if the answer is I don't know, that's still better than yes, they're gonna leave, right? If you could start kind of trying to dismantle this devil, then when you start feeling a little bit insecure or feeling a little bit unsure, it'll be okay, because you're gonna have the stability you need within you to not automatically just like fall apart. And I'm not saying you're falling apart, because Aries is very strong, but the hard part is like you don't have the like belief system in place, or kind of like the plan in place to navigate if something were to fall apart. Because like thinking that you can avoid every pitfall or every owie or every like disaster, that's not even real, guys. Like, not to be mean, but like life is going to life regardless of whether or not you participate or you don't. You know what I'm saying? Life is still going to happen to you. And so it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you could try to be like strategic and avoid and coerce and be tactical in all these dealings, or you could just create like this really great kind of foundation for yourself so that you can actually like get out there and play the game of life. And then if you lose that day, you can come back to your really solid emotional and mental and spiritual foundation and be like, you know what, that's okay. I'm going to dust myself off. I'm going to take a day off tomorrow, and then I'm going to go back at it on Friday. You get what I'm saying? All right, let's get you an oracle card and see what comes out. Friendship. You know, you would probably benefit from like actually being friends with people that you're interested in, because you get bored. You know what I'm saying? It's like if the sex isn't happening, if the passion isn't there, if the attention isn't being given, like I'm bored, you know. But moving slow might be like a really good thing for you. You got nurture the bonds of friendship within your relationship, and your love life will dramatically improve. Maybe that's what's missing, right? It's possible that you think all these things of like, this person's going to leave, this person's going to screw me over, blah, 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 because you don't actually really know the person you're dealing with. You know, like, you know, you're in love with whoever that person is, but like, do you have a friendship with them? Have you spent a bunch of time together? Do you know their favorite color? Are you aware of like what they do when they're sad? You know what I'm saying? Like, you move so fast that you're not taking the time to build foundations with people. And so everything feels shaky all the time, because you go from like 0 to 100 instead of just getting to know a person and then feeling safe with that person. And maybe you're like an adrenaline junkie. I don't know, right? Bottom of the deck, secret admirer. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they're letting on. I think everybody must love Aries, right? How could they not? But what I'm thinking most is probably this past person that's just looking at you and thinking like, Aries is having like a whole new life experience with someone else, so I'm just gonna go over here and do this, right? I think that person still cares about you very much, but I think you're also very tricky and like kind of hard to read, you know? But maybe it'll make you feel better to know that this person cares about you. And it looks like you're gonna be finding that out more in the next few weeks. All right, Aries, this has been your message. Thank you for stopping by. I'll speak to all of you again soon, but in the meantime, take very good care of yourselves. Bye.